Throughout the main story of Pokémon Sun and Moon, you meet a variety of different characters. Some are more important than others, but the varying personalities are very notable. Some of these characters you meet eventually become opponents too, and can be very challenging. But something that stands out in all of these characters are their teams as well as their signature Pokémon. If you aren't familiar with the term signature Pokémon, essentially it's that trainer's ace. It's the Pokémon that is the most prominent on their team and is more than likely the highest level Pokémon on their team. So today we're going to be looking at some of these Pokémon and count down the top 5 signature Pokémon in Sun and Moon. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more Pokémon content. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. In the number 5 spot, we have Hala's Crabrawler and Crabominable once you face him in the Elite Four. The reason I really like both of these Pokemon as Hala's signature Pokemon is because you get to see the Pokemon evolve, which is not too common. You first face Hala in the Grand Trial Battle of Melee Island, where he has a level 15 Crabrawler as his ace, and you face him later in the game at the Pokemon League where he has a level 55 Crabominable as his ace. This shows that while we as trainers were playing through Pokemon Sun and Moon, catching new Pokemon, training our Pokemon, and battling, Hala was doing the exact same thing, and this is evident by the fact that his Crabrawler jumped up 40 levels and evolved into a Crabominable. And not to mention, Hala's Crabominable is insanely strong. Next up, we have Kyoei's Alolan Marowak. I think the reason why I like this signature Pokemon so much is because of Kyoei's trial where we see the 3 Alolan Marowak dancing. Obviously, that's not the only reason why I think Kyoei's Alolan Marowak is so cool, but it definitely makes this Pokemon memorable. Honestly, I just think Alolan Marowak is such a cool Pokemon, and I'm really glad that it got some spotlight in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Normal Marowak was just kind of left in the dark after Generation 1 where it had its own event with the Silph Scope, so I'm glad Pokemon brought this Pokemon back into the eyes of the fans by giving it an Alola form. And not only that, but also making it the signature Pokemon of Kyoei. Oh yeah, and Kyoei's Alolan Marowak in the battle tree is nothing to laugh at. It's holding a Thick Club so it doubles its attack, and I can guarantee that none of your team members want to take a Thick Club boosted Flare Blitz or Shadow Bone. Next up, we have Gladian's Type Null and Silvally at the end of the game. First, I want to say that I really like Gladian as a character. I love how Gladian starts off as just some random member of Team Skull, but he starts to develop into a rival throughout the game. And I don't mean a rival in the sense of the game makes you fight him a lot, I mean that you actually want to beat Gladian whenever you fight him, and that's what makes him such a great character. But not only does the player's relationship with Gladian change over the course of the game, Gladian's personality actually changes too. We learned that before Gladian left the Aether Foundation, he stole Type Null from his mother. He later then joined Team Skull as an enforcer. The first time we meet Gladian, he is quite rude, but over the course of the game, he begins to trust the player and later helps the player face Lusamine and stop Team Aether's endeavors. Later at the Pokemon League, Gladian reveals to the player that he has removed Type Null's restraint, which evolves it into Silvally. If you didn't know, Type Null evolves by friendship, so I believe this is supposed to mean that Gladian is now a better person and is able to express friendship to the player and his Pokemon. And all of this I believe makes Type Null and Silvally really cool and fitting signature Pokemon for Gladian. Next up, we have the signature Pokemon of one of my favorite antagonists in all of the Pokemon games, Guzma's Golisopod. Not only is Golisopod just an insanely cool Pokemon in every way, but it's also incredibly strong. In my opinion, Golisopod is just a really fitting Pokemon for a prominent antagonist such as Guzma. But what I really like about Golisopod being Guzma's signature Pokemon is that every time you beat Guzma, he either backs down or totally leaves the scene. And this is really funny if you consider Golisopod's ability called Emergency Exit. This subtle relationship between Guzma and Golisopod is what makes Golisopod stand out to me as a signature Pokemon. And in the number 1 spot, we have the signature Pokemon of a trainer that we meet on Route 6, but don't get to battle until Vast Pony Canyon, and it's Hapu's Mudsdale. The reason I really like Mudsdale as her signature Pokemon is because they have a really strong relationship together. I mean, every time we see Hapu, she has her Mudsdale out of its Pokeball roaming free with her. And not only that, but she also gives us access to the Mudsdale Pokeride. I mean, come on. She even resembles a Mudsdale. Just look at her hair. All of this together with the sheer fact that Mudsdale is a really cool new Pokemon makes Mudsdale my favorite signature Pokemon in Sun and Moon. And that's gonna do it for this video. If you happen to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more Pokemon content. Peace out, guys.